Anywhere. I am your host, Nan Gill, and today we're very pleased to have two guests with us. We have Bette Friedlander and her husband, Michael. How are you?
Very good.
Fabulous.
So happy to have you here.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Now, this is a special program designed especially for women and with men in mind, because it's a very important subject we have here. It's how to make your marriage blissfully happy. So we have the Mr. and Mrs. Friedlander will tell you a little bit about how they got involved in this and their website and how they got blissfully married as their website. So did you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Absolutely. I'd love to tell you about it. And I'll let Michael interject as, you know.
As he does.
As he does. As he often will.
You're not telling it right, honey.
No, that's right. That's right. Okay. Well, I'll do my very best. Well, okay. So Michael and I are about to celebrate our 17th wedding anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. It's on February 14th. Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
We'll be married 17 years and happy and blissful. But believe it or not, 17 years ago, when I was about to get married to Michael, my best friend told me I shouldn't do it. I shouldn't get married to him, and I'll tell you why. She probably had a really good point. I was about to become wife number 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that doesn't look so good statistically, right? So
Right, because if there's 3 marriages and there's one common denominator, right?
I know the statistics. They're not good.
Right.
But we met at Landmark Education. It was all about communication. I thought, well, maybe this will be different, and I went ahead and married him anyway. Because I would tell you, swept me off my feet. Took me to Paris, proposed on top of the Eiffel Tower. So it was like a storybook, right?
Okay.
Madly in love. But of course, we're married for about a year, and it's starting to wear a little thin. But somebody, a friend of mine, introduced me to a workshop that was designed by a relationship expert, Allison Armstrong. It was about understanding men.
Okay.
It was a weekend workshop.
I guess if you're married to one, you should understand them.
Yeah, exactly.
Or at least try.
Well, I thought I did, right?
Okay.
I thought I did. But I thought, well, what do I have to lose? Because,
Right.
I actually thought, I have no idea how I'm going to have this get better over time or keep it going. How am I going to have this go any differently?
Were there any cracks forming?
After a year, you have your struggles after a year. It's not the same,
You find out what clashes.
what it's like to actually live together. It's not the same as being courted. So anyway, I did this workshop and completely altered. Like Michael saw it right away, the difference. I learned things. I had no idea, right? So
What was the name of the workshop again?
the name of the workshop at the time was called Celebrating Men, Satisfying Women.
Okay.
It was delivered by PAX Programs. It was based in California. But I did it in New York City.
Okay. Were they focusing mostly on women or men?
It was for women.
Okay.
It was a workshop designed by women, for women, and they had been studying men, asking them questions about, how they, and I really discovered things I had no idea about. But anyway, long story short is that we had been working with Allison ever since. We worked for Allison. We trained with her for years to lead her programs. So we led live workshops for women.
Right.
And Allison said, okay, workshop leaders, if you want to take this work and, pick a market and go teach, then please go do that. I give you a license. I give you permission to go do that. And we're one of the crazy people that decided to do that because honestly, for the last 30 years, I've been a graphic designer. And Michael and I have been working together in our graphic design business. But I thought I would really like to transition. So we're creating our own program using what we've learned and everything we've learned over the years, not just Allison's work. And our program is called Everyday Bliss, A Married Woman's Pathway to More Love, Joy, and Satisfaction. And it's going to be a 6-week program that we deliver online and on calls.
So
And-
it's online, so you don't have to actually travel. Wherever you are, you can take it. And what's your website?
Our website is blissfullymarried.com.
Okay, well that's encouraging. So how did it change your relationship? I mean, what did you learn when you took this?
Well, Michael, do you want to interject here? Because I feel like I've been doing all the talking. I would be happy to, I can tell you where how it changed for me, but...
Well, the biggest thing for me is I didn't feel as though I was broken.
Ah,
I don't want to say too much about my former three wives,
right.
but there were always things that I did that I was either made wrong for or felt bad about or wasn't the right way to behave or there was something wrong going on.
Right.
And after Betty took the workshop, what I realized was, oh, I'm behaving like a man, but I was being judged from a woman's point of view.
Okay.
And so we always...
Viva la différence.
Exactly. And it's natural because you only have what's inside of here to judge the world.
Right.
And if you judge it from only your own perspective, then you make certain conclusions about how the world should work.
Right.
And with the gender differences, we have learned with Allison
Right.
about instinctual differences. And I behave differently from Betty in
Well,
similar situations. And
okay.
Betty didn't make me wrong about it.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you realize that, then I guess you can more or less see how she's going to react, know how you're going to react, and if it's a mutual thing, then you could say, okay, so this is how you're reacting, I'm reacting, what do we want to do? Is that basically how it goes?
Well, it's kind of like that, but it's really more like, it's not a problem Michael acting the way he's acting. The problem is that I can't get what I need because he's behaving the way he's behaving.
Okay.
And I think that's what, actually the reason most women will want to get a divorce is because they just give up on getting what they need.
Uh-huh.
And they figure he just doesn't care, he doesn't want to give me that. When really they just don't know how to communicate.
What
in a
they
way,
want.
in a way that inspires him to want to provide that. Because I mean, the biggest thing is like men, if a man marries you, he wants to provide for you. He wants to make you happy.
Right.
But there's ways that we can be as women that automatically would have him distance himself to not want to provide that because there's, for instance, complaining is not the same as communicating. I mean, it's a form of communication. Like,
Right.
I want you to put the toilet seat down, so I'm going to complain about your leaving it up all the time. That's not going to inspire him to put it down. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Coming from this is what it would provide for me. I know you want to make me happy, and not making him wrong for not doing that. Having him take the trash out because of what it would provide for me.
So how do you communicate? Okay, give us an example. You want him to take the trash out. How would
Okay.
you ask him to do that?
Okay. First of all, it's when you talk to him. When I talk to Michael, I have to make sure he's actually there, paying attention.
Oh,
So
yes, that's a big one.
that's a huge one because
Yeah.
we just start talking, right? And we assume he's going to stop what he's doing and listen because we can transition as
Yeah.
women. We're multitasking and
We do. We have to. That's one of our actual qualities because we have to deal with children. So
Yes.
we have to.
so we have something called diffuse awareness.
Right.
And we notice, it's all about the quality of the experience. But okay, so men are single focused. So I have to make sure, first of all, I have his attention.
Oh, this is helping me already.
Right? Oh, this is huge. This is huge.
helping
Because
me
women
already.
are like, he doesn't listen. Well, it matters.
You have to make sure he's listening.
Well, yeah. So it's, okay, honey, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
When would be a good time to talk to you about something I need?
Oh, I know David is loving this.
Yeah.
My husband.
So Betty said something that's really key here.
Right.
She said she's sorry to interrupt because men are always focused on doing something,
Right,
producing
yeah.
some kind of result. And that result could be watching a football game, or it could
Right.
be taking a nap, or it could be doing something.
But whatever it is, you're right in it.
Exactly.
In the middle.
Or even lying on the couch. Did you know that's a testosterone building activity? Like actually, you get home and he's chilling out and doing whatever he's doing, reading the paper. It's like they're building testosterone. It looks to us like they're not doing anything,
Right.
but in fact, it's really important that they get that downtime. So I'm sorry to interrupt. See?
Yeah.
We were just talking about
I
that.
know.
Thank you, honey. So, you could ask me again.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt. When would be a good time to talk to you about something that I need?
How about in 10 minutes?
Okay.
Great.
Fabulous.
Okay.
So, it's 10 minutes later now.
Okay.
Okay, honey, you wanted
Okay.
to talk to me about something?
No, because basically, bottom line, 10 minutes would go by, you wouldn't even realize it went by.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. No, so 10 minutes. I come back in 10 minutes. I say,
Well,
honey, 10 minutes have gone by. Is this still a good time?
Sure.
Okay, fabulous.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
learning.
So the first thing you want to do is you want to start with some appreciation. Like he starts out winning, right? Because men need to win. Right? They
Okay.
play for points, and whatever they're appreciated for, they'll give you more of.
Okay.
So Michael, you are so great at giving me what I need all the time. You know, anything I ask for, and I know you're so happy to provide it, right? So this is something that I need that I'm not sure. I've been a little nervous about asking you, but
Oh.
yeah. So you want to say, like, what is it about that thing that you need, or I just realized that I need it, or I've been putting off asking you about, or whatever is there for you about that.
Right.
And then you just get to the point. Instead of a whole story about why you need it, I need you to take out the trash. I need you to take out the trash on a regular basis. Like put it out in the garage every night. Let's just say I'm making it up.
Right.
So okay, so that's the request. I
Right.
need you, and then I say that's to the point. What is the next?
Is there anything you need?
Oh, yeah, but
Yeah.
before, let's see. Yeah, that would be the next thing. Is there anything you need from me to give me what I'm asking for? So that's what we call the partnership question.
Okay.
Because up until now, it's just like, I need you to take out the trash,
Right.
like a kind of a demand. So he has the option to say, okay, we're in partnership.
Right.
You know what I forgot to do?
What it provides.
Ah,
Yeah.
God, that's a huge thing. Okay, I knew. And what that would provide for me, it would make me feel like I have a partner. I'm a princess with a partner instead of feeling like I'm like a maid, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what it would provide. And men, because they play for point and they want to make a difference and have an impact, knowing the impact,
Right.
what impact that would have, like that's worth providing.
Uh-huh.
Because there's nothing really worth doing, right? It's really, what is my providing, what difference is that going to make if I provide that?
Right.
So let me just say a word about that. Taking out the trash is a task.
Right.
You can bundle up the bag and tie the bag and carry it outside.
Right.
There's no honor and there's no joy and there's no reward
Right.
in picking up that bag and taking it out,
Right.
right? So can you take out the trash? It's not a motivating, inspiring idea. However, if you can provide something about how it's going to make her feel or what it's going to provide for her,
Right.
a princess with a partner, or you've got my back, or whatever it is in
Right.
the situation, that's worth doing. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the key here. Now, then Betty asked me, is there anything I need from her in order
Right.
to give what she asked for?
Exactly.
And here is where you might hear something surprising.
Okay.
Because what the woman may expect the man to say and what he actually says could be totally different. But what it's really important just to listen to what he says, because if that's what he needs, and if you can offer that, so I might say, okay, you know what, I need you to remind me. So when you go up to bed, if I'm done here, can you just remind me? I won't get mad.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'll take out the trash before I turn on the alarm for the night. Would that work for you?
That would work
Okay.
for me. I
Okay.
can do that. How you work together. And of course, when he does that thing, you want to appreciate it and make sure he gets the points.
Hey, yeah.
You know, like, oh my gosh, that made me so happy. Thank you so much for doing that. I
Yeah.
feel so special and taken care of. And
So basically what I'm feeling is that the day-to-day tasks that we all have to do, you know, can really make a rift in a relationship.
it's one piece. For some women, that's a huge issue.
Right.
For others, it's the attention and the affection.
Right.
And that, you know, it's like whatever it is that you feel, or maybe it's the quality time. I don't know if you've ever read the book, The 5 Love Languages, right? Where what makes me feel loved. Like
Right.
if how Michael feels loved is by acts of service.
Right.
Right? So it's those things that I do for him, and
Right.
so he tends to give me he does a lot of things for me, and I love it. It's like amazing, but what makes me feel loved is quality time and touch. So like I feel more loved when we're lying there watching TV and he's scratching my head and giving
Yeah.
me scritches or foot rubs, or like that to me is like I just died and went to heaven. You know?
So basically you have to examine yourself and find out what makes you feel and what you need,
Right.
and then communicate
Yes. And I think
in a way that's not objectionable.
Yeah.
well, more than that is satisfying for
Right.
him, because remember, you're speaking to someone who wants to provide.
Right.
You know, he wants
Otherwise
to
he
make you
wouldn't be
happy,
with
right?
you.
He wouldn't have married you if he didn't think he could make you happy. And failing at that is so it's horrible for the woman, for the man, and just coming from a place like he really wants to. And he will if he can, and communicating in a way that has it be a win for him
Right.
and satisfying. That's what there is to do, but it doesn't come naturally.
Right.
Like if I didn't learn how to do that, it
Right.
would not have come naturally.
Right.
Um,
I think the big piece is that you said is realizing that when they're doing something, they're totally,
Yeah.
the man is totally,
yeah,
I like to say they jumped into a rabbit hole,
yeah, right. Totally,
Because
a black hole.
And that's a good thing, because the concentration that they use at that point,
Yeah,
they're
it's
able
produced
to
the
do
result,
things
Hunter.
that I would never be able to do.
Yes.
It's beyond my ability.
Yeah.
Whereas I can kind of say, okay, this has to be done, that has to be done, that has to be done, that has to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And I can kind of schedule my day around that,
Yep.
And
You're
then
like,
wouldn't it be nice if he did that? Right?
totally.
See, now I think
Totally.
that's a wonderful thing. However, yes, I can do one thing at a time
Right.
really well, but I can only do that one thing at
Right.
a time. If I try to do too many, I get overwhelmed,
Right.
and I cannot deal with a child and the phone and
Right.
answering
Yeah.
some email and then maybe putting something in the oven for dinner that's later. I can't do that.
Right.
So the multitasking ability that is part of the feminine
Right.
is such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Important. It's really
But
important.
it's important both to
Yeah.
combine, and the
Both.
communication is really important.
Yeah.
You had said something before about knowing how to get your mate to actually satisfy the things that you need as a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Is there some way that you would recommend as finding out what those things are?
That's a great question, because I think one of the things we struggle with as women, because in our design, we're designed to be self-sacrificing.
Right.
There's a part of us, when I talk about femininity and the feminine, there's 3 aspects that we talk about, 3 archetypes: the temptress, the mother, and the queen. right? So the temptress is the playful, sensual, sexual side of being feminine.
Uh-huh.
The mother is the nurturing, unconditional love.
Right.
The mother puts other people's needs ahead of our own.
Exactly.
Which, the people who tend to default to the mother, they will really struggle. What do you mean? What do I need? Because their focus is on other people. What do
Exactly.
they need? And what happens is they tend to, where they don't know what they need, they're worn out, they're exhausted all the time, and they start to feel resentful. And they
Right.
actually need a lot. Before I go back to the mother and discovering what it is she needs, I just wanted to say a little bit about the queen.
Okay.
The queen is the spiritual side of femininity. The queen has, a vision. She's visionary. What does life look at on a level of human spirit,
Right.
right? How great can life be? So that's more of something that we develop in ourselves. It doesn't necessarily come, that comes with education, with learning, with growing, personal growth.
Right.
And the temptress and the mother are instinctive.
Mm-hmm.
So we usually how it goes is when we're younger, we're the temptress. As we get older, and especially if we're a mom, that mother aspect is developed, and then we become self-sacrificing.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we need? You know how you know what you need? What are you complaining about?
Okay.
Even if it's just in your head.
Okay.
If you look at every complaint that you've ever had,
Right.
there's a need. There's something that I need. If you say, I'm cold in here, that's a complaint, right?
Right.
Oh, maybe I need to get a sweater. Or,
Right.
or maybe we need to turn the heat up.
Okay.
So anytime you have a complaint, I'm tired, maybe you need to take a nap. It's kind of flipping it.
Right.
Instead of when you hear yourself complaining or you have a thought in your head about something you're complaining about, instead of letting those words out, say, oh, what do I need? What do I need that if I had that? You're mad at him, he just did something. Oh, I need an apology. Oh,
Right.
he hurt my feelings.
Okay.
You hurt my feelings.
Or if you're in the kitchen and he's sitting on the couch doing, just what you say, working on his testosterone.
He's working on his he's working it. That's
never-
not always. It's funny. I
now-
learned that from John Gray, which is so fascinating. It's like, oh, he's not just lying on the couch, being a lazy bum. There's actually a purpose to it. And he needs
Well, now
and
I
he
won't
needs
be,
that.
I won't be resentful at all. You just say, okay, baby, do the couch bit.
Well, to a certain extent, right? I don't know. Michael would have to speak to that one.
Right. So so basically, if you're in the kitchen and you're busting your chops and you're doing this and you're doing that and you're starting to feel resentful, then you say, well, what do I need? And maybe you need him to help you with the dishes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So then the words would be, Michael, there's something I need. Could you help me?
Yeah.
And believe it or not, they're very responsive. When you say, you actually use the word I need
Yeah, and help.
and help,
Yeah.
they're like, what, need? Here I am,
Okay.
like superhero to the rescue. But instead, a lot of women will say, could you do this?
Right.
It's like, no.
I don't want to.
I need this. Would you help me? And I think
So
because
not
it
being
makes...
afraid of asking for help.
Well, yeah, but it's vulnerable. And we've not been taught that, with the feminist movement. Thank you, I can do it myself, is where we come from. So the idea that we actually need something or asking for help is almost like a sign of weakness for many women.
For many women.
But learning to include those words in your vocabulary is just going to make you so much more effective.
Right. Now, what about the temptress part? Maybe we should kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So the temptress, again, the playful, fun, sexual side, men need that. They need us to be fun, and it's about being in your body, about being present
Right.
in the moment. And if you think about sensuality, even if you're just eating something and you're experiencing it
Right.
through your senses, and that just comes with being present.
Right.
you know?
Instead of worrying about this or about that or what I have to do or how much I have to get done before 4 o'clock.
You can't be multitasking.
Right. You have to be totally present.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. It's one of the keys, right, to
Right.
being the sensual, sexual, and just being. It's like a ray of sunshine.
Right.
And what it does for your husband is it, makes him feel attractive and alive, and it gives that, that
Right.
energy.
Now, I've heard a lot about people saying that you have to plan some time away just to be together. Is that one of the things that you recommend? Or?
Well, that's a really great question. It can, and if you're not liking each other, all the time away in the world isn't going to help. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Because there's things that you need to work on that have nothing to do with going on a date or spending time together. It's the quality of the time
Right.
that you spend together. So it's really getting, and if you're not getting,
And if you're angry,
if you're angry,
it's not going to help.
you can go away. It will be awful, right? So I would think the most important thing when you're married. It's more important to like each other. I mean, even than love. I mean, start with really liking who he is, admiring who he
Respect,
is,
I think.
respect,
Yeah.
critical. I mean, men need that like they need air. I would, Michael, do you want to say more about that? Because that's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, respect is really important, and not to be made fun of, especially in front of anybody else, because that's a real cut. But being nice to each other is so important.
Anyone that has a question about how to make your life and your married life more blissful, you can give them a call. What's your phone?
What is our phone number? You know what?
Go to the website.
Go to the website. You send us an email, and we will be happy to, because it'll have a contact us on the website.
Okay.
And we'll be
Anybody
happy
that
to.
wants to find out more about being blissfully happy should go to their website, which is,
blissfullymarried.com.
and there's a contact form there that
Yep.
they can just fill out
Mhm.
and find out how to make your life exciting
Yeah.
and very blissful and happy and joyful. And what are the other adverbs? Adjectives.
Let's see.
Loving and adored and
Yeah. Cherished.
cherished.
See, all this is
Put on a pedestal.
waiting for you.
Yes.
And this is Nan Gill at Empowering Women Everywhere TV, and we hope that you've gotten something exciting and learned something very interesting from this program, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nan.